this program, we have with me Dr. Ursula Kant, faculty from School of Vocational Education and Training.
Hello.
And we have with me Dr. Divya Oja, Academic Associate in Fashion Design. And we will explain detail about the fashion communication. The purpose and objective of this session is to apprise you what is the course structure of this program and what types of content we have included in our curriculum. And third, the purpose is what is fashion journalism, how it will help you as a student to understand the basic concept of fashion communication and how it is different for the normal communication and journalism. So I request straightforward just now to Dr. Divya Oja. She is a content expert and she will talk about details about this fashion communication program and course structure and content. Dr. Divya, please.
This is the block 2 of course 4, which is basics of fashion communication. In this block we have 3 units. Unit 5 is fashion communication concept. Unit 6 is communication skill for fashion, and Unit 7 is role of social media in fashion communication. So we will first see the Unit 5 fashion communication concept. So as we all know, communication is one of the medium through which we exchange one another's idea. So in order to get each other's idea and to enhance our knowledge. So fashion communication is a means of communicating the message of fashion, culture and lifestyle using various media. It involves applying the communication design strategy to fashion and lifestyle products. Through fashion communication, we communicate the idea of fashion, lifestyle, culture, like our history and what our present will be in fashion. We communicate through fashion communication. The areas in fashion communication include graphic media, fashion events and display design, fashion advertising and public relations, fashion journalism, styling, fashion photography, broadcasting, social media and fashion films. In fashion communication, we communicate to people or the mass through different mode of communication, like graphic designing. We have some posters, banners, designing graphics through which we communicate what designs we want to show to the consumer or the mass. Fashion events, like we have fashion weeks, fashion shows of many designers. They organize fashion events to show or to display their designs or their production, what they are doing. Display designing, fashion advertisement. If a designer produces or designs any new, they do advertisement of that product so that it can reach to the mass. Public relation, that is for the promotion of the product to the mass. Fashion journalism, in which it comes the writing for the fashion show, events, public relations and styling. In styling comes the graphic designing or the selection of the accessories, costumes or any other elements to show the product which the designer has developed. That is called the fashion styling. Photography, photo shoots are done for the product of the designers, and broadcasting and social media is one of the mediums through which fashion communication is done in fashion industries.
Just a bit, as a learner perspective, we are discussing here about the basics of fashion communication.
Yes.
So this in our course 4, we in our previous sessions also discussed about the social communication. So this block 2 is we are explaining detail about the basics of fashion communication. What I understand, the basics of fashion communication. How this fashion communication is different from the learner perspective. If learners are coming from different background of their study, they have not understood the basics of fashion communication. They are aware about the journalism and general mass communications, and how this general communication is different from the fashion communication. You have rightly pointed out the graphic, image, visual, and this is particularly in the context of the fashion designing, how this fashion communication is important, particularly in the fashion context and designing the illustration, the designing and particularly pattern making and construction management is concerned.
Yes. Sir, fashion communication and communication. Like for general communication, we say if I have to say something to I will adopt many other mediums. Like I will write something about my thoughts. I will speak about my thoughts. But in fashion communication, it is not two-way communication. It is like 3D. If a designer produces something, a garment or a accessory or a shoe, they have to communicate it to the mass. For that, they use many fashion communication medium, that is fashion journalism. They spread that idea to the masses through journalism like newspaper, television, social medias. They adopt the graphic designing. They make posters of that thing, images. Social networking, like they produce it, advertise it on social medias like Instagram, Facebook, so that through these medium they communicate with the consumer among the masses.
So I think we have included this all what we are discussing here about the basics of fashion communication in our course structure.
Yes.
And I am sure learners who has received this particular our study materials might have studied the basics of our fashion communication, and we request to all the students, those who are doing this program, they can ask directly to any questions they have mind related to our this course structure of basics of fashion communication. And we have expert here. You can see our web page also. So please, you again explain the next part of this fashion communication.
Yes. The basic concept of fashion communication is the basic framework of fashion communication is built around investigation and analysis of the relationship of word to image with the advent through the internet and the social media. It forms interaction between the communication, awareness, historical and theoretical studies. That is what we are studying, like what we study in theory or what we see in our history, to relate it with the present scenario. So some of the basic concepts of fashion communication is we are talking about fashion journalism, in which we have the print media and the electronic media. Graphic design through fashion, we have fashion sketches, like designer use sketching for showing their garment, their ideas, what they are planning to make, designing themes. Then fashion broadcasting and fashion films. Many fashion events like fashion show events are organized by the fashion designer to show their designs to the mass. Fashion films are produced. For that, visual merchandising and window display, like if we go to any showroom or brands, we have the window display of their new collections and the upcoming collections, ideas about the upcoming collections.
We have explained the basics of fashion communication in Unit 5 of Block 4 of our this course certificate in fashion design program. Yes, please, can you tell me the basic focus on of this basics of communication skills for fashion design, particularly, or how these communication skills are being used in fashion?
We have fashion professionals, our concept and definition, they have something in written and some parts in the oral, like through visual communication. Then designer have to constantly communicate with their team, clients, buyer and the media. So it is worthwhile to note at the outset that communication skill for fashion draw most of the terms approaches for general communication skills.
So I think you are rightly explained to the learner. Most of the communication skill what we are using in general purposes or other purposes are being used in fashion context also is the same. Whatever you would like to communicate, I think it is the way. Yes, we have explained this particular detail of communication skills in fashion unit 2, and you can see details of our short copies, and block 2 we are discussing in detail. Here just we are giving you a broad idea what we have included in this particular block of communication unit 2, communication skills for fashion. For detail, I would like to request Divya ji for the learner perspective, if they have assignment on this, and they are attempting, I think they have to submit the assignment as per our schedule which we have dispatched them. How they will attempt you give them one illustrations as a question which we ask from the assignment perspective, and how they will respond to the questions in the context of the communication skill for fashion.
As learners can download the assignment which are uploaded on the website. So like in basics of fashion communication, they can have the questions what are the basic communication mode of communication. So if they have the question what are the basic or the mode of communication, they can write about types of communication, that are intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, and mass communication. So if they can write about these mode of the communication, then under that mass communication comes the fashion journalism. Fashion journalism, writing for fashion, we concept the press release, writing invitations. These all comes for the mass communication, which they can study from the study material and get the idea and write them in concise form.
Divya, most of the viewers, they want to know what is the difference between fashion journalism and normal journalism.
Yeah, so normal journalism is like what, as I have explained earlier, if somebody wants to spread their new ideas, they adopt the print media or the electronic media. But in fashion communication, they use print and both, but they have the fashion events, fashion week, shows. They invite other designers from another countries for viewing there. They forecast the next upcoming fashions, and this way it is different from the normal journalism and fashion journalism. Then we are talking about the different modes of communication. As I have explained, there are three modes of communication: intrapersonal, interpersonal, and mass communication. As intrapersonal communication, it is the communication what we do with ourselves. If we see any design, or like in fashion context, we see any design or theme, we do communication within ourselves, what kind manipulation can be done with the design, or in which sense we can use it in our design. Then interpersonal communication, that is with the group or within two people, it is the communication. Mass communication is if we want to give idea or show our idea to the world, we adopt the mass communication method.
Which mode of communication is important for the fashion context? Among the three?
Among the three, mass communication is more important. Intrapersonal is not that much effective, then it is interpersonal. Then mass communication is the most important communication method which is used in fashion industries. Because if I am a designer, I want to show my design to the most of the people, I will adopt the fashion show or the journalism or the print media or the social media to advertise the design. So it comes under the mass communication. Under mass communication comes the fashion journalism. Fashion journalism is a special type of communication. It carries out as a part of fashion media communication. That is editorial, pictorial, advertisement, portraits, brand profile, product presentations, fashion trends, critic comments, all comes under the fashion journalism. Then we have in mass communication the communication through image. Fashion runway photography, photo catalog of designers' collections, product photography, pictorial photography, photo book, beauty photography, street style photography. These all comes under the communication through image. Then we have the event planning, which comes under the mass communication. That is planning, press conference, discourse planning, media files, press release, and agenda. Finally, in the post-event or the press monitoring. So these were the basic brief details of the Unit 6, that is communication skill for fashion.
I think before coming to the next last unit of this block, I will like to give the comments from Ushla ji regarding, since she is also our expert here. how the students have to use this activity in SLMs when they are using self-learning materials, what we have designed the activities. Before, this is two different strategies we are adopting in distance education. One is activity, second is assignment. Activity, if you see what we are asking immediate questions when you are reading the study materials, and assignments we are asking questions after completing of your study in assignment. So activity perspective, Ursula ji, when we have given this activity in fashion, communication skill in fashion, how students have to use this activity while studying the study materials?
Yeah, as Divya has already explained that if the question is like how to write a press release, then the student can use their communication skills in a better way to write the press release. They can express their views and they can express their ideas so that maybe it will become more effective. So in that they can use different words, different phrases to become more attractive, more catchy, so that more people will come and clientele will come. So in that way they can.
Yes, you rightly pointed. I think the viewers who are doing this program, you see the IGNOU, our study materials of particular programs. In every unit we have given some activities, and after studying the particular section of the unit, you have to attempt these activities and try to respond the answers what we ask the questions particular unit. And we are not giving any grading or any marks for this particular activity, but we are checking the learning objective or learning skills what you understand particular course what we are teaching. Like this case unit 2, we are talking about communication skills in fashion. So in section we have completed score 13.2. You see go through our study materials. At the end of this section we ask activity how to write a mail to the others fashion industry to get the retailership your particular brand. So that activity we ask and you attempt answers. And at the end of this unit, every unit, not only this particular unit, at the end of every unit we have given answers also. You can match your response what you have given the particular activity and verify your answer at the end of what we have given. Also in every unit we have given some references and further reading. If this material is, suppose you want to go further knowledge and further this information on this particular area, social skills or communication skills in fashion, you can study the further references what we have described in our course material. Now I request quickly to Divyaji to explain the unit 7 of this course.
After learning the communication skill for fashion, one should know the role of social media in fashion communication, which is the 7th unit of block 2 of course 4. So as we all know, social media is now an integral part of our daily life. We all are using many types of social media like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter in our daily lives. So we all are social media friendly, and social media has become an integral part of our daily life. The internet is now not new to all of us, but it is perpetually evolving, and as a means of communication, it has become an extension of human behavior. Many of us are giving up traditional media in favor of social media. Like social media is growing day by day. Number of people are not going to the traditional markets, like not going to the shops. They are adopting the social media and they are buying online, doing the online shoppings. So this is one of the major upliftment in the fashion industry. There are many websites like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, which all comes under the social media. These all are the online portals on which anybody can share their ideas, view their new inventions, so that many people can interact with them and they can see what they are doing and they can give their inputs in them. Some of the basic role of social media these are social networks. There are many social networks as discussed earlier, many portals where we can share our ideas. Like there are Instagram, many people follow like celebrities, designers to see their new collections and to follow or adopt what they are doing. So Instagram, Twitter, there are Pinterest, which give us the portal to share our new ideas. Then it comes the media sharing networks. Media sharing networks, it also like Twitter, we share our views, new inventions. Then discussion forums, like one site is Quora, where anybody can write if they're doing any new thing, they write something, or if they have any questions, they write there and people just reply to them or interact with each other. So these are the forums where we can interact with many people sitting at our own place. Then we have consumer review networks, like we have online apps where we can get the review of that product, and then we can decide whether we have to go for that product, we want to buy it or not. It is like gives a good experience. If we want to buy, we will just see the reviews of that product, then we will decide. Then blogging and publishing networks. Many people in fashion industry, they write for the fashion blogs. They write about the previous fashion, upcoming fashions, and the present. So people who are learning to become a designer, they read that blogs and get ideas what all is going in the fashion industry, what are in trends. So they get more ideas from them. Then internet-based networks like Facebook and all, these all are the internet-based networks.
We have already, I think, given illustrations of each social media and how social media are being used in industry and in particular. And in generally we discussed and we also explained the social media role in fashion expansion and how it is being used by the fashion designers and fashion industries. So my question to you is how do you perceive the future of fashion industry in the context of social media developments?
Like we can see, as it is said, that technology is like a boon and ban for our present scenario. So for the present generation, it is very easy to collect ideas and information through social media. But most of the ideas which are present in social media or what we get through internet we cannot rely on that. So it is better to go into the field and to get the primary knowledge also. So we should not totally depend on the social media.
So I think on the one hand side, the social media is helping to, from the industry perspective, more industrial product to be sold. If you see the commerce and industry perspective, and if you other way around also, what we assume, it is creating problem for the industry to every second change of fashion styles and giving difficult to them how to design the latest fashions and their particular product. So this is also a dilemma for the how to use the social media in your fashion industry. But I understand from this content. And the other way around also, if you see, we have explained beautifully by the content writers of how this fashion communication and social media is helping and giving boom to the industry, as well as if you see the future coming technology like artificial intelligence and how the impact of artificial intelligence on fashion industry is a lot of questions to be answered after reading this unit. I'm sure the learners who are viewing these programs and also enroll this particular program, or those who are planning to enroll this particular program, have a lot of questions in mind, and we welcome all the questions. And when you go through the study materials of this particular unit, what we have contributed, and our course writers has written beautifully the role of social media in fashion industry. The social media, and we talked about the not only Facebook or Twitters and the coming up technology impact. I just explained that the artificial intelligence will help to grow and develop latest designing, not only in the local context but across the globe. Suppose somebody is sitting in USA and he designed the latest fashion, and India in a remote area, the artificial intelligence may help to design the particular fashion context. With these comments, I think viewers, you might have enjoyed this program. I hope you will submit the assignment now in time, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavor in this particular program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.